Live from 2 News. This is Talkin Real, powered by Strong Auto Group.
Good evening. Welcome into KM1U Talkin Sports. We're talking Real every Thursday night. I'm David James, along with Brian Dunseth. And Dunny, RSL looked dangerous against the LA Galaxy, but they still can't find the back of the net. Your 10-year pro career, you had to have gone through stuff like this. How do you get through it? What happens when you're in the middle of it?
You're reminding me I was on some terrible teams throughout my career. Listen, at the end of the day, the bar has been set for Real Salt Lake fans, and they expect this team to be in that top 3 spot as of right now in the Western Conference. For the LA Galaxy, they've taught their fan base it's okay to be kind of mid-pack until July. At the end of the day, you don't press the panic button when you're less than 10 games into the season, especially when one win would put you in second place.
Real Salt Lake and the LA Galaxy, an exciting start to the game that didn't allow the game to start. The lightning strikes during the anthem. The crowd oohing and aahing. You can see the reflection. Jeff Cassar, look at his eyes. Uh-oh, that can't be good. 14th minute, Jordan Allen getting the start. How about the skill check, Dunny? Dangerous at the top of the 18.
Well, the big news was no Javier Morales. You knew that there was going to be some adjustments. Devin Sandoval gets to start alongside Alvaro Saborio. But Jordan Allen gets to start on the left-hand side of what looked like somewhat of a diamond formation in a 4-4-2. Does a great job scooping the ball over Ishizaki, keeps his shot on frame.
33rd minute, Allen in space, and he had the crowd oohing and on again.
Well, this time he does Ishizaki dirty, and the spin move pulls the former Swedish international in, gets himself away, keeps solid possession.
41st minute, it's Luis Gil's turn. Nutmeg, Dan Gargan.
I remember last year, it was Omar Gonzalez was on the receiving end of a dirty nutmeg from Luis Gil. This time, it's Dan Gargan, cuts inside, and as an outside back, this is the most difficult thing in the world. You're trying to pressure at an awkward position, then you get megged, then you try to foul, and just everything goes wrong for the LA Galaxy left back.
Scoreless at the half. 53rd minute, Luke Mulholland. Jaime Pinedo, the save. Now, RSL keeps it in. They actually end up with another opportunity here. The captain, Kyle Beckerman, the service, but the header's right at Pinedo.
Well, what we saw with this formation, with these players on the field for Real Salt Lake, was offensively, not only were they getting shots off consistently, but they were recovering the ball in high spaces, recycling chances, and creating new opportunities inside the 18-yard box.
66th minute, Galaxy's turn to be dangerous. Nick Raimondo tested by Alan Gordon in the save.
Alan Gordon, since coming to the LA Galaxy, has scored 8 goals, and 6 of those goals have either been game-winning goals or game-tying goals. You give him a shred of daylight anywhere in the box, and you find his head. He's got a great opportunity to keep it on frame.
70th minute, Jordan Allen on a 40-yard run. The service to Sandoval. The ball falls to Sabo, but Pinedo's there again.
Well, and again, Pinedo's a goalkeeper. He doesn't check all the boxes, but in terms of being a pure shot stopper, he's one of the best in Major League Soccer. And it's just a clipped-in ball. It takes a deflection, comes back off Leonardo. Sabo keeps his shot on frame, but there's that spill, and Dan Gargan just pushes it out for a corner.
76th minute, Leonardo slips. Saborio in on goal, but Sabo saved by Pinedo.
2 weeks ago, Saborio forced the Andrew Farrell mistake in Boston. Last week, he forced the own goal from Victor Bernardez. And then last night, he forces Leonardo to turn the ball underneath under pressure. Omar Gonzalez takes the deflection. That is a fantastic save from Jaime Pinedo.
90th minute, free kick for the Galaxy. Jamison Olave taking down Omar Gonzalez.
It doesn't matter at any level, at any moment of the game, in any country. That's absolutely a penalty given up by Jamison Olave. He gets caught on the wrong side, and that allows the LA Galaxy potentially to get the game-winning goal from the spot.
But Janino's penalty, saved by Raimondo.
How many times? How many times are we going to see Nick Raimondo, the wall of the Wasatch, not only block a penalty kick, but save his team from conceding goals, conceding points at home or on the road?
Well, he got the Galaxy twice last year, and now he's done it once this year. And then 94th minute, one last opportunity for RSL. Jamison Olave just wide.
He could have gone from villain to hero, and Jamison Olave, as he found himself in a dangerous spot, unfortunately a center back's touch. He's uncontested as he turns, keeps his head down, and he just blazes one past the outside of the right post of Jaime Pinedo. And what probably ended up as a fair result for both sides as they split the points. And most importantly, LA Galaxy very, very comfortable. No Robbie Keane. Juninho comes on late. No Robbie Rogers. And somehow, this is a team that just keeps grinding out results without its big stars.
So Real Salt Lake now with 1 goal in the last 5 games. They've scored 2 goals in the last 6. Javier Morales with the rebound off a free kick in San Jose.
Yeah.
And then the own goal. Nothing really in the run of play. Are they getting closer? Are you seeing improvement?
Much more improvement. And I think what we saw was a risk with Devin Sandoval up top with Alvaro Saborio. You saw Luis Gil play a little bit more centrally, looked very, very comfortable. Jordan Allen comes in. Sebastian Salcedo replaces him. You've got Luke Mulholland as well. This is a team right now that's starting to find its rhythm. And I'll tell you what, if they didn't face a very experienced back line for the LA Galaxy, and in particular didn't face that man, Jaime Pinedo, I absolutely believe Real Salt Lake would have found the back of the net.
All right, as expected, Jordan Allen got the official word. He's been called in and will represent the USA at the Under-20 World Cup in New Zealand. He'll leave next week. The tournament starts in late May. It runs through June.
Tab texted me actually in February telling me that he was going to call me into the Austria camp and that he was hoping that by the time April came around I'd be healthy and in good form. So that just gave me motivation for the last couple of months to really work and get myself sharp. I think when I went to camp I really took hold and tried to be one of the main guys. I was getting on the ball a lot and I was dangerous, and I left camp feeling really good because I felt like I was one of the better players there, and it would have been a hard decision for him to not take me. I wouldn't say it's the main reason, but it's obviously helps me that I can play a few positions. I think when you go to a tournament, it's always important to have players that are versatile, because when games are so close to one another, you never know who's going to go down with an injury. So obviously being versatile helps me. I think the last couple games I've really started to find my rhythm and really started to be a big player here, an important player. And I think the U20 World Cup will just help me continue to develop so that when I do come back, I'm just as sharp or even sharper, and I can help the club even more.
Tab is Tab Ramos, the U.S. Under-20 coach. Tony Beltran, not surprised Jordan Allen was called in. You know, veterans usually temper their praise of the young guys. Dunny always did. But Beltran said, quote, "I think Jordan Allen's an incredible talent. I think the sky's the limit with him. It's unfortunate for him last year. He was injured. But he's worked very hard to get back where he is. He's got big things in front of him. I like having him on the field. He's dangerous. He's a problem for defenders with his speed and his skill." Now, we've seen Allen used really wherever RSL needs him based on who's injured, who's out, who's facing a national team call-up. We've seen him as a hybrid forward, kind of a forward wing in the 4-3-3. We've seen him as a midfielder in the diamond. So, given all the options, Dunny, left side, right side, midfield, higher up as a forward, where do you think ultimately he'll be best?
Anywhere in the attack.
Really? He's just a total wild card.
Listen, I absolutely 100% agree with Tony Beltran, and I knew his college coach, Matt Schulis of the University of Virginia. He can play right back, he can play in the midfield, he can play out wide, he can play up top. He views himself as the ultimate hybrid, and if you allow him the same type of freedom that we've seen to kind of the more established game-changing players in this league, this young man has that potential. But it's not just potential, he's actually starting to show it. And you think last year, that early tackle in San Jose, he was the first player off the bench for Jeff Cassar, ahead of Luke Mulholland. So it just tells you how good and how much they thought of him last season before the microfracture injury to his knee, and which says even more about the fact that he was able to come back and earn this spot with just one substitute appearance, one start for the U.S. Under-20s in just one single camp. That says a lot.
All right, Jordan Allen headed to New Zealand. Now, putting the focus back on the team, here are the Western Conference standings. Dallas, Vancouver, Seattle, they're running 1, 2, 3 at the top of the West, although Seattle with games in hand actually averaging the most points per match. They're in a great spot right now. Galaxy move into 4th, picking up the point in Utah. San Jose and Sporting KC tied for 5th. They are 2 points in front of 7th place Real Salt Lake. Portland, Houston, and Colorado rounding out the West. In the East, New England and DC United tied for the top spot, followed by the Red Bulls and Columbus. The Chicago Fire tied for 5th in the East with Toronto. RSL is at Chicago Saturday afternoon. Dunny, what makes the Fire dangerous?
Well, I think offensively they do a lot of great things, but defensively it's a team that really struggles through transition play, struggles with their individual responsibilities with their marking. take a look at some of the goals they've conceded recently, and it really is balls turned over in wide spots. But I want you to take a look, and statically, it's decent. Outside right back, you've got the two center backs. You got immediate pressure on the ball, but watch the way Dom Dwyer just really recycles his run, finds his time, finds his space. It's a great ball from Benny Feilhaber. It's a poor opportunity missed for Dom Dwyer. But how in the world does Chicago allow a guy like Dom Dwyer that much time, that much space? Set piece opportunities. Kevin Ellis in behind the defense. He's unmarked, uncontested, and he ends up crashing one off the crossbar. Take a look in transition play once again, and it's a breakout this time against Toronto FC. And again, you stop and you look at the pressure defensively. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But keep an eye on the late run that ends up coming out. And a lot of this comes down with Giovinco and that ball with the outside of his right foot. What a fantastic touch and a great goal taken from Giroud as he just kind of delays his run and just pushes one in the back of the net. But again, talk about the breakdown and watch the way the buildup happens. And again, you'd think positionally, things are looking pretty well. You've got 6 players in right spots, but who's marking Paulo Nagamura? 5'7", defensive midfielder. It's a fantastic goal scored. But the bigger question comes into set piece responsibility. Then I want to see the transition defending. Can Real Salt Lake expose a Chicago Fire team that, in my opinion, is a very good team in the Eastern Conference, but with 4 losses so far this season, just 3 wins? It's a team trying to find its confidence, trying to find its fluidity, both offensively and defensively.
All right, the Fire have a new designated player in Sean Maloney. Now, he famously assisted on the Ben Watson stoppage time goal that gave Wigan a win over Man City in the FA Cup final. But 1 goal, 1 assist, 6 starts for Chicago. Should everyone calm down because he's just adjusting to MLS, the physical style, the travel? Is there something else? Is he a good fit? Is the right combination of guys around him? What's happening?
It's a little bit of everything. This is a Chicago Fire team that it took a while to get all their designated players on the field at the same time. But when you're talking about Sean Maloney, he's a Scottish international. He's played over 200 games for Glasgow Celtic. And like you said, he had a fantastic 2 years at Wigan Athletic. The question then becomes for Maloney, at what point does he define his role on the field? Is he a striker or is he a withdrawn forward? Now, Harry Shipp playing alongside him is a game changer. Last year, 7 goals, 6 assists in his rookie year. Physically, he's not imposing by any means, but it's his movement off the ball that causes a ton of problems. Then here's Maloney, the number 10 for the Chicago Fire. Watch the way he sits back and looks to get isolated. And when he gets isolated, that's where he can cause a ton of problems. Maloney is just one of those players where you know that if you spend designated player money, you've got to statistically prove that you're good enough. I think he's good enough, but I think Frank Yallop and company are still trying to figure out what their best starting 11 is. Well, the big question mark is on the left-hand side of midfield with David Akam taking a red card at Sporting Kansas City. Ivana Nike's going to get that chance on that left-hand side. Keep an eye on Harry Shipp. His opportunity to push out wide. He'll look to tuck in underneath as well as support his midfield. Sean Maloney's going to be a player. He's going to have the freedom to literally find the game wherever it means. Polster's going to sit, as well as Ritter. They'll be the destroyers. Gehrig will look to support at times, and then Jovan Jones is going to have freedom to get forward so often. On the other side for Real Salt Lake, I truly expect them to start the same way that they started against the LA Galaxy. The big question mark, Jameson Olave. Mentally, how will he recover from conceding that late penalty against the LA Galaxy? Elias Vasquez has been fantastic once again. Phillips, he'll look to get forward. Jordan Allen will look to tuck inside. You know Sabo will patrol centrally along with Devin Sandoval. That will be the relationship right there. And then Luke Mulholland looks to tuck inside. And Luis Gill has to, once again, have another massive performance and look to replicate, not only physically, but statistically, the play of Javier Morales.
All right, as always, it's time. The keys to victory. Give me your big 3.
Well, the big question mark for me is when you're talking about the Chicago Fire, exactly what do they do well and what do they do poorly? And I think it's all about running free in Chicago. For Real Salt Lake, they've got to have good possession of the ball, but they've got to have a lot of movement. Movement makes the Chicago Fire make mistakes. Compact shape, you've got to keep that centralized shape with possession and then without possession. Force the Chicago Fire to go wide. They want to get overlapping runs. That way you can flood the midfield with numbers. Most importantly, let's score more goals than the Chicago Fire. That's the easiest thing to remember. If you score more goals than the Chicago Fire, you walk away with 3 points on the road in Chicago.
Captain Obvious making an appearance here. Hey,
I got the band. I got the band on.
Captain Obvious is crucial. Hey, remember Saturday, Real Salt Lake and Chicago are playing a matinee. Our coverage starts at 12:30 here on KMYU. And of course, it'll be seen around the Intermountain West, Boise, Reno, Las Vegas. Join us for the matinee, 12:30 from Chicago. The play of the day is coming up next.